All right, people. This is Charles. I am Brandon Madison alongside Denia Azure of DeniaAzure.com. And I have with me my beautiful guest. Haven't talked to her in a good minute, but when you have situations where your voice is like iconic and majestic and anything else that you could put and pour out there in the universe, I feel like we need to have some dialogue with this woman and see what she's been up to. A big fan of her since the 90s. Nobody does it better. Platinum album. It's funny how I feel like personally 1996 was like 5 years ago in my head.
Yeah.
That's it. And I got the beautiful, talented Gina Thompson with me. What's up, girl?
Hi. Hi. We are not strangers.
Hey,
how,
no, we're not. No, we're not.
how are you?
Hey,
How are you?
listen,
Thank you so much for having me.
I listen. I've been loving your music, and it still stays on rotation on Nexxlegacy. And beyond that, like I fell in love with your voice. Period. So, do you feel like me? Before we even get into some Q&As, do you feel like me? Like 1996 was 5 years ago.
You know what? It's like I honestly speaking, it's like I kind of do, but I don't. And if I could just kind of elaborate on that a little bit, the reason that I feel that it doesn't, because I got older and I feel it in the bones. You understand what I'm saying? Like I'm just saying. But at the same token, it's like, man, when I go out there and I'm doing these shows and traveling, it's like, okay, okay, this is the same. So in that aspect, it's like it seems like it was just a few years ago. But again, me and Arthur, we be having fights in these knees and stuff sometimes. So that's when I say to myself, yep, it's been a minute.
It has, as far as the feel, but I'm still
Yeah,
a 90s kid in my mind. I mean, grew up in the 80s and
sure.
whatnot, but it's, to me, when you look back, I just feel like that wasn't long ago. I feel
Yeah,
like
I
the
got you.
music still goes, it's still relevant. There's still a need, not just for 90s music, but for the people to be appreciated as well
Yes.
when it comes to just
Yes.
the work that had to be put in to do what you do. So I'm gonna start off by just saying, how you doing? How
I'm
you
so
doing?
blessed. I will not complain, even in the midst of the storms and when what we are going through today and a lot. I am just very thankful that I'm still here. I'm waking up. I'm breathing. It can be worse. My glass is still so very half full versus half empty. So I choose to just remain to feel that way again, regardless of what's going on around us. And my family, we're all here and we're good. My immediate my core, we're good. So I'm blessed, man. I can't complain. I won't.
We're gonna talk about what's going on around us in a sense, because I always feel like there's a push pull between good and evil and everything else that comes involved as far as what we can do to like move past it and be better, even
Yeah.
though in the midst of chaos, right?
Okay.
But I'm going to start with just your career at a glance. Like I told you before, like nobody does it better. That and other music that you have contributed to still is on rotation on the radio station. It still gets a lot of love. It still gets a lot of people want to get out and dance. I can't dance like that, but I'm still kind of wiggle around like I can pretend. You know what I'm saying? I could do something, but you
Yeah.
try at
I
least.
love it.
I'm saying I'm being real, but how does it feel like taking a snapshot of the career that you continue to have because you still ongoing,
Mhm.
with everything that in the midst of just the love that people I feel continue to show your music contributions.
Well, first off, I want to say I'm so very thankful because with my music career, let's keep it real, is with artists like our fans, the DJs, people like yourselves, you guys support us and make us where we you put us where we are. So my record wouldn't be, still playing today and doing doing what it's doing, the things that it does do, it wouldn't be doing it without the support of fans and just that love. So I want to start off by saying that I'm very thankful and it's an honor to have that support. you know um I feel like, back then it was great, and 30, almost, what is it, I lost track, but almost 30 years later, and the love, like it's like the receptiveness, even though I had this hiatus, you know, like people were, you guys were still playing the song, like you said. And, you know, I mean, when I'm dead and gone, this is a record that, people are going to know and play. And again, just for that in general, I'm just so very thankful. So I'd have to start off by saying it feels amazing knowing that.
Did you think at the time when you not just cut the record, nobody does it better?
Mhm.
Um, and even now, like you said, like, to me, it's still hard to believe that it's what 30 some odd years ago, whatever.
Close to it or something. Yeah.
Yeah, that album, your music and everything else that's bottled up, that still gives that kind of that sense of wanting to get on a dance floor and dance or listen to a ballad or listen to this, that, and the other. Like, did you know back then that I just made something special? This record is hot.
Mhm. So what I did at the moment, the very, very moment when I first heard it on the radio and things along those lines, I was like, yeah, it's a hit song, and Puffy's behind it, and it's this is a big record, because at that very moment, Missy and Rodney, although a huge part of the record, like they weren't at that Puffy status, like none of us were at at that Puffy status. So back then I was just so happy to know that Hot 97 and Power 99 around the Philly area and even other areas that broke the record. I was just happy. But did I think that it was going? I don't even think I thought about 20 plus years later. I just knew at that moment it was a blessing. It was great. People were receiving it well. And I was just, again, I was so thankful. So I didn't even see that far ahead. I sincerely did not. Just was thankful for that moment and living in it.
So the things that you do, that video, that song, that whole thing moved a lot of different people. And your work with Missy on that was, clearly hot and legendary and all that good stuff. Talk to me a little bit, and the people out there listening, a little bit about just your work with her. Because to me, like as far as female MCs, like out of the gate, one of the most creative
Hmm.
in hip hop history. And I'm not even going to put a genre on it, male, female. No, I'm talking about just period. Like, just tell the people, tell us a little bit about just your work with her at that time.
Absolutely unique. A lane by itself, because she was just so diverse. Missy, yes, she raps and has her unique, style. But the thing about her is, like, she just is so well equipped with everything that she does, and very humble, very, very humble, which was what was great as well. And so the opportunity, for her to want to be on the record, blessed as she did, and then for us to continue a relationship at that time after the first album, her, helping me get the second deal and working with her even on the second album that was unreleased, unfortunately.
Hmm.
But working with her was amazing because, like I said, she was such an incredible acrobat, no matter how you looked at it. She, the writer, just in her own lane, and to have someone around like that, um again, just was a blessing. And she was very easy to work with, extremely quick and thorough in a studio, knows what she wants. And to this day, although we don't have that same connection, she still has that as, I mean, it's, come on, it's evident. She has her flowers, sincerely, and then some.
No doubt.
So she still is that amazing. But to see her career blossom as such after, being on my record, that was amazing as well. And then her being on other records, it just seemed like, again, she just, like I said, just blessed so many people with what she had, and especially Aaliyah. And I mean, the list goes on. We already know, but it just was so amazing to be able to have that experience and a chance to work with her.
Nah, go ahead.
What was your most memorable experience working with Missy Elliott?
Oh my gosh, like I can't even narrow it down to one, but I will try. Um, oh yeah, this one was very touchy. She had asked me to, she was writing for Aaliyah, working on her project, excuse me, herself in Timberland. And there was this song. I'll sing a little bit of it. Can I talk to you?
Yes.
Comfort you. Well, that I referenced that. And so a lot of people don't know that. And even some of my vocals is still on that song. So
Wow.
when she asked me, I was so honored. I was like, there actually were several memorable. I'm going to share one more, but this one it was so heartfelt because I was like, man, of all people, she asked me to do it. Aaliyah accepted the song right away and went straight with, like, the way I sang it is exactly how she sang it, but she put her Aaliyah spin on it. So that was such an honor. And just to know that, they really loved the record. And then the Why Do Fools Fall in Love soundtrack. That was another amazing moment. That was an honor. I was asked her to do the featured song on there. So Missy, and of course, did her writing with the lead song, of course, in mind. And then Timberland did the track. And many people, well, I can't say many people, but that's a song, I will say many people. That's a song that was a very, very great song. It still is. I actually sing a little bit on my set when I do shows, not the whole song, but a set, because just the feedback that I've received from it when I got back on the road and started singing, people were like, oh my gosh, the beat, is so nice. And then it's just so different. And it's like, yo, that's almost still today. So those were the two. I'm sorry, I had to say two memorable
Yeah,
moments, and
absolutely.
there were definitely more, but those were just such a, like, wow, me, like, not that I felt I couldn't do it, but it just was
Yeah.
such an honor,
Yeah.
Aaliyah, and then the Why Do Fools, when soundtrack, lead track, hello, yeah,
Yeah.
so there,
Oh,
yeah.
Well, you gotta give yourself some credit, because I mean, working on a co-rocking party with MC Light.
Now that's another one. Can I correct you with that?
Uh-huh.
I'm not sure. I've been meaning to look. I'm not on that. I don't know if I did any referencing. This one I can't remember. So I'm not on that, but there seems to be credits out there, and people are thinking that I'm on that song. That's Missy singing it. But
Okay.
I will say this. There is a song that MC Light and myself did do together, and that's on her. It's All Yours. This is for
Yeah, yeah,
all the
yeah,
years it's
yeah.
been. That is me with MC Light. And
That-
yeah, so that song I did, but people have asked me that one song,
mhm, mhm, mhm.
I might have did some referencing.
Wait,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Like, I mean, off top, when I heard that, I was like, "Oh, that's got to be my girl Gina." But
I probably referenced it somewhere, some
yeah,
because Missy and I were really close at that time, and this girl was like, yeah, she was so in love with my vocals and told me I would never forget this. I'm sorry, this is another memorable moment. Sorry you asked, but then another thing about her is I will never forget when I left Electra, and I'm sorry, when I left Mercury and went over to Electra with Sylvia Rohn and Missy, and that's when we did the yada yada. But I remember her telling me, at that time, she was like, "Yo, you have one of those vocals that it's unique, but it may go over people's heads." And I didn't know what that meant at that time. And she was like, "There's so many great singers out there, but sometimes people want it more simple, if you will."
mhm.
And my voice was very unique to hers, and amongst others that she thought she had put me in a category with some heavy hitters, and I was thankful. But she always complimented my vocals and was like, I love the way you have a different sound. It's a combination of people, but you still have your own sound. That was huge coming from her, you know and she always told me that. She was like, I just absolutely love your voice. And the last time we spoke, when we did the pass the mic with DJ Cassidy, when we had talked on that's when we reconnected after a million years, and
right.
she and I were talking, and she was like, girl, you still have one of those vocals. Remember I said that to you then, and that had brought tears to my eyes because we had lost contact with each other. But so those are memorable moments. There's like I said, that's three, and I know you said one.
No, it's
Listen,
quite all right.
tell it, Gina. It's all good. It's
Yeah.
definitely memorable moments that we love to like eat up, because to me, it's you can always have those moments in
Mhm.
life that, you know what, if somebody want to sit down and hear a story, damn it, I'm gonna tell you a story. I might just tell you more than one, maybe two, three,
Mhm.
5, 10, whatever it looks like. So as far as credit where credit's due, you bring the sunshine. Now that was
You
on like
gotta work.
a 50 compilation thing that was a lead off of that,
Yes.
right?
Yes, it was.
Another
NBA
memorable
at 50th
moment, right?
soundtrack. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Sorry.
Another memorable moment, right?
You said it, not with Missy, but it was with Babyface.
There you
So
go. There you go.
yeah. So thank you. And I appreciate you. These are actually some really good areas that we talk about. The interviews that I've had, I haven't really been able to dig into these, which is okay because, a lot of people are now, inquiring about, the mental health journey that I'm on, advocate for mental health. But nevertheless, with the NBA at 50th soundtrack, when that was presented to me, I was like, okay, the story behind that, they was like, and you can hear it when I tell you this, it was initially, they were considering Tony Braxton for it. But I'm
Mm.
not sure why that didn't, occur. I just know that at that time it was a good timing
Hmm.
and it was a good thing, and Babyface was like, yeah, sure, so they flew me out to, I did never met him though, but uh John was the person who he worked with closely on that. So John and myself, they flew me out to the West Coast, and I recorded the song there, and it was amazing. I loved it. Babyface's voice just on there, just he has his own unique sound as well, and it's so admirable, and it's like you hear it so distinctive. So he put closure on that and just kind of brought it home for me, and that was one that was singled as a single as well. Unfortunately, though, you would think with the songs that we've talked about already that, man, the Why Do Fools featured song and You Bring the Sunshine, and even the Yada Yada, the second single that came off of my the first single that came off of my second album that was unreleased was a great hit. Missy was on that as well,
Hmm.
but if the promotion's not there, things just can really fall apart, and I say that without saying so much. So much had happened, and then things there, then there's that conflict of interest, then there's certain things that happens, and when you get caught in that turmoil, it can really, really shut a lot of things down. Then there's, if your business is not handled accordingly, people push away from you, and it's so many different things. And so unfortunately I got caught up in a few things, and so I think that had a lot to do or contributed to why a lot of things did not, continue to move forward. And it happens to many artists, so again, the overall experience with Babyface was absolutely just that whole uh experience was just phenomenal.
Yeah, I mean, and what you said is on point because, like you mentioned, it happens to a lot. But again, I always stress that in the business that we're in entertainment and media, good media, not all that
Yeah.
other stuff or whatever. Like I always feel like people help people. People got to move certain things forward
Mhm.
in order for people to progress and evolve and
Yes.
doing all the things that's necessary. Why do you think it's? I mean, the drought of support in that machine on certain albums are like, nah, I'm not gonna mess. I'm not gonna deal with this. It happens a lot.
Yeah.
But why do you think it is? Do they just feel like, okay, album's done, this is going to be a tax write-off, or I just don't have the energy to just promote this anymore?
I think honestly, I don't know if there's one answer for that. I really believe that it's a combination of why those scenarios, end up the way they do. Like I said, sometimes it can be conflicts of interest. Certain artists may be coming out at the same time, and then they may feel like, well, if she comes out or he comes out at this time, then this is going to happen with me, and then their team, gets with the label, and and there starts to be bickering here and there. And I'm not saying that is the situation with everybody, but these are
Right.
things that I've heard. Sometimes, again, the business side of things, if you don't have a tight management team, sometimes that pushes people away. Sometimes record companies fold or merge and things happen, and then and then there's the infrastructure or the internal part that we may not even know when it comes to where money may need to just shift and go to.
Mhm.
There are so many reasons that people's albums get shelved, or good artists, that single didn't come out. There's so many reasons. So the best answer to that is to take each and everyone's situation and make it specific to their scenario, but the question you ask, it's pretty broad, and there's several reasons why those things happen, and I've heard so many of them. Some of them are personal, and some of them are business, some of it is business, and then it's a combination of things. And a lot of what I have seen or have heard is one of the big things is conflict of interest.
Yeah.
If you have this album coming out at this time, and then this artist, and they're sounding similar, or they're doing this together, wait a minute, we got to do something here. And then it's kind of like, then there's like a draw. Okay, well, what are we going to do here? And then sometimes they even in those aspects, it's unfortunate because the artist may not even be told the entire truth,
Right.
and then all we know is that we're just shelved,
Yeah.
and whatever happened may have happened, and then it's kind of like you're just walking around here, and people are like, well, what's happening? Everyone else, it almost seems like everyone else knows but you.
Yeah.
But again, it is to each its own, and every scenario is specific to that individual. And I hope I answered that okay for you.
You did. It's like the movie game in a sense too, because you could put work in or whatever on a certain movie, and it may not even see the light of day.
You got it.
I know a bunch of movies who got shelved based on whatever politics that was going on.
Politics. There you go.
Within it as well, which is weird to me. But hey, I mean, you're gonna work this hard just to get certain things out, but whatever. I mean, it is what it is. But I just feel like, Gina, at the end of the day, when it comes to like certain things, like again, like how do you sidestep? Because to me, I just feel like in addition to what we kind of talk about in terms of just the work that you've done, your name and your music and your voice is still relevant still in 2025 and beyond. So I know you talked about being an advocate for mental health. So I want you to have the floor and tell the world, why are you championing this cause?
Oh, absolutely. Well, first off, I guess I can start off with saying mental health is health. Let me start opening up with that. And if the mind's not right, then nothing else really is right. I don't care how cock diesel somebody may look, if whatever the case may be. If your mind's not right, it's just then everything else seems to just kind of like not be aligned.
Right.
The reason that I pushed so much into mental health, there's a couple of reasons. What I personally had gone through, and even still at this time, have my moments. And what that is depression and anxiety. A lot of times people, I don't want to say intentionally take it for granted, but I feel like there's just not enough people speaking out about it, and or sharing I will say this, I'm beginning to hear more and more, which is great, of support that is out there. But I feel like a lot of people feel like they got to take so much of this on their shoulders and wear it themselves, and especially our men. With all due respect, I definitely feel the need to go here, and I have a lot of patience, more so that are men that actually suffer more than the women when it comes to this depression and anxiety. They're not talking about it. They're
Right.
feeling like, I'm a man, I got to keep it on my shoulder. I don't, I'm the man of this household, quote unquote. I wear the pants in this relationship. This and that. Men don't cry. All these stigmatizations that's associated or affiliated with depression. And so a lot of our men, they don't seek that help. And even statistically, if we take a look at, and I'll go here as well, as far as the committing of suicide, if we look at the reasons, or if some may have left notes, or some may not have, but a lot of it with the men, it's like so instantaneously. And it's because they've been wearing that, and they've been holding on to it. They're not out there seeking, not all of them, they're not seeking that help. Whereas us women, we a lot of times, we're much more, we're verbal. And we gonna tell you something, listen, I'm not happy. Something's not right, and we're quicker to speak about it, and we're not feeling so mannish, where I gotta just wear this, and I can't go get help. So women tend to, and again, these were statistics, this is not anything that I'm making up, it's evidence-based there, where women, they'll go out there and they'll seek that help quicker than a lot of our men will. And unfortunately, again, with statistics, with the committing of the suicide, it seems like men seem to do it. And then the way they do it is even, it's so sad as well. And it's because they've holding so much in, I believe, hold so much in, and they just wait until it's just like, no. So then some of them are just do it so you know what I'm trying to say. I don't want to say it, but they take that route, and
Yeah.
it's so unfortunate. But there are women too. So the moral of this is, I am such an advocate for letting people know that you're not alone, that there is so much out there. And in this world, again, I'm not going to say too much because
Mhm.
I don't know who votes for who these days. I'm just praying. I'm seeking faith in God. That's what I do know. But anyway, there's so much that's going on today in this world, and we're needing that support, and we're needing that help, and it's contributing to depression, anxiety, even personality disorders. And and people are getting more buried into this depression, anxiety, and not really seeking that help. So it's important for people to know that help is out there, and you're not any less of a man or a woman if you go out there to seek that help. You're actually wiser. You're actually doing what you should do. And then even a step deeper with that, not only with situational, this is basically almost kind of what I'm saying. You, whatever you're going through, you may have a lot of pressure, peer pressure for the younger children, and for men, or women, it may be financially, or your relationships, whatever the case may be. But
Mhm.
there is more than just what we call situational depression. I do have I'm currently in pursuit of my doctorate's degree in nursing. I have my master's, and I'll be having my doctorate soon. And thank you. I love to share it because, again, I specialize, excuse me, and I'm very vocal and such an advocate. I'm sure you see and hear the passion that I have for this. Probably is a little bit more than I do with the music. But anyway, um, I will say that if the world can understand and know that you're not alone, there are so many people out there that are in this situation as you, more or less. But there is not only situational depression. There's a such thing called chemical imbalance, and many people walk around with depression and anxiety and or other mental health disorders, and not even being properly diagnosed or even seeking help to get that diagnosed
Right.
sometimes. And just because I'm a nurse, I don't want to make it seem like, oh, I'm all about the medication. But I am going to tell you something. When you truly have what they call a chemical imbalance, understand what I'm saying? Your situation may get better, or it may get worse. But when you truly have what they call a chemical balance, sometimes that does cause for some type of medication in
Right.
conjunction with whether it's cognitive.
No.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Can you
No,
hear
you're
me
You're
good.
good.
okay?
You're
You're
good.
good.
You're good.
Looks like we froze there.
You're good. You're back.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we there?
Yep.
We can hear you. I don't know if you can hear us.
You got me?
I don't know if you can hear us yet.
Okay. She'll get
Yes.
back to you.
Yes. But oh
Trying
my
to
goodness.
right
So
now.
so
Love this.
powerful.
Love
I'm
it.
so sorry about that. Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Absolutely.
ma'am. Can you hear
I
us?
knew, I know exactly what happened. I said, you know what? Instead of me trying to troubleshoot, IT is not my specialty. And so instead of me trying to troubleshoot, the best thing for me to do was to leave and rejoin. So I saw when it stopped. When I get a call in, my phone just stops, and I
No
have
worries.
to just recycle. So I'm not sure of the last thing. And if you want me to stop, by all means, please let me know.
No,
I'm
please
so
don't.
passionate about this.
But
I'm
what
so,
what you said, Gina, hits a nerve because I'm a guy. It's like, most
okay.
guys from that perspective have
Yeah.
always been like, you know what, we have to shield, we have to be the man. So being the
Yes.
man consists of, not being vulnerable in a sense.
Okay.
So when I got to the point where I'm like, you know what, fuck this, I'm gonna be vulnerable. And I was in a relationship in the past. She considered that weak, right? In a
Mm.
sense. So what's wild is I'm thinking, if I can't be vulnerable around my girl, then who can I be vulnerable with, right? So that was one of those things where it was just, I'm not with this person anymore now. But to say that is to say I get it. Like I have, therapy works because losing a lot of people over a stretch of years
Yeah.
will mentally like mess with you in so many
Certainly.
different ways and just in general.
Yeah.
So, to me, being transparent is important. Like,
Absolutely.
I don't care who cares about it. I need to get this out. And if
Mhm.
somebody wants to embrace it, take it in, do what they do, offer some kind of strength, advice, or whatever, great. If somebody doesn't, that's okay too. But at least I got it out. And to
Yes,
me, I
that's right.
think if you don't do that, it's going to be a long road to go in order for you to, and I don't care what age you're in, you can be the youngest of the young person
That's right.
or the oldest of the old. It's important to just be able to just be free with how you feel about a certain situation and go from there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. Well, I want to say that I'm very proud of you for, tapping into yourself with that, and, being able to go out there and seek what it is that you need. And regardless of what somebody thought of you, you continue to do what you had to do for your self healing. And it's honestly, it's an everyday process. It's an everyday process.
Mm-hmm.
This is something, and that kind of goes back to, especially if there's that chemical imbalance.
Right.
There's the situations where we have traumatizing events. We lose loved ones, as you've mentioned earlier. And those things, yes, we still can seek that therapy and seek that help. But again, there's so many people walking around here that are not diagnosed, or may be afraid that if I just go there, and they just going to think I'm crazy, and they just want to throw me on medications. But I always encourage people, if you're finding that you are just so back and forth and battling with this, it may be more than that situation. You
Right.
may seriously need, and if you're not into medications, there are so many other alternative therapy out there. But again, it always goes back to an individualized care plan for the individual. So what works for John may not work for Jane. Although there may be some similarities there, you need to know the totality of your circumstance and be able to get that individualized care that's going to work for you. And that's why I encourage people, cognitive behavioral therapy, there's acupuncture, there's aquatic therapy, there's group therapy, you name it. Like, there's so much out there that can help. And so, in conjunction with pharmacological agents and some without, but you just have to be very careful, especially if there is that chemical that is within, that's not there. Meaning, if you don't have enough serotonin in your brain, you may really need a medication to help bring that serotonin to balance it. Or if there's not enough norepinephrine, there's just like people that have the dopamine. When we talk about Parkinson's, not going
Mm-hmm.
to go too far into other stuff, but the bottom line is, when there's a chemical abnormality, that's where we have to make sure that we're staying on track with that as well. But even
Right.
with anything in general, depression, anxiety, or any type of mental health, like people with schizophrenic, certain things, you just really need some type of medications. But anxiety and depression is so huge right now. I'm not discrediting or saying anything less of any other one, any other ones, but these are things that I'm seeing more and more of my patients, and a lot more of the male, and there are females as well. But the idea is to get that help. There is help, from crisis lines to therapy. There is help, and again, such an advocate. I know what I've been through. I'm a survivor of. Let me tell you, yeah, I'm a survivor of a lot, and I know it was nobody but God
Mm-hmm.
that enabled me or allowed me to see what it was that I needed to see to get the help that I needed.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
heavy. I could talk all day with music icon Dr. Gina Thompson on Nexxlegacy Radio. Then I grab a question for her.
Definitely, definitely. So, in the climate that we are in now, what's some
Uh-oh.
advice do you have to our audience? I'm trying to be nice here regarding our
Listen,
mental
don't be
health.
nice. Just say it. Just
Say
say
what say
it.
what's on
Okay,
your
look,
heart.
Just say
Yeah.
it.
we have a whole situation. We have a man that has decided. We have an unelected billionaire that has decided to destroy the White House as well as our records. How do we mentally maintain our sanity?
Okay. Okay. So it again, and this is my belief. Um, I'm religious, and I'm into spirituality. And I know that there are people that, are atheists or may not believe, or whatever it is. I know for me, what helps me is I always seek faith and guidance from the good Lord. And I try to keep myself, although we do need to be aware of what is going around with us, but the bottom line is, I always try to just keep God in the forefront of everything, and just say, Lord, you see this world more than us. Lord, you see what's going on, and you know what's happening before Trump or whomever it is going to do what they think they may be going to do, what
Right.
they're going to do, or whatever the case may be. So the only, not the only thing, what I try to do is just stay in a position where I continue to just let go and let God. But at the same token, you know, I try to be mindful of things that's around me, but there's only but so much we can control. So many, you know, we can stress ourselves over so much. But the bottom line is things are going to be what it's going to be. We can continue to fight and do what we're going to do, you know, whether you do it together or whether you do it by yourself. But again, I'm a firm believer in the man upstairs. I really am. And I know, and then with my family, we pray and I just say, good Lord, you please continue to protect us from any and all harm that is around us. And I just try to live my life as best as I can. That may not be a good answer for everyone. I don't have everyone's answer. But what I do know what works for me, a lot of it is my personality as well. But ultimately, it's my faith in God. It is my faith and what I believe that I believe that he's not going to give me any more than I can handle. And whatever battle that I feel that I'm going to go into and fight on my own, I got a rude awakening because the bottom line is he is the one that's going to control what it is. And what's meant for me is for me. If it's not for me, it's not for me. I have to go and live my life in that way, or else I would be in a, and I don't say this disrespectfully, in a psychiatric ward probably. Because the world, the stressors that we have, I tell my children this with social media and things that are around, you just have to, like my kids, my one child is just straight came off of social media. Good for you. If you're finding that it's affecting you that way, good for you. But in the meantime, he does with the good things that he has, both his parents, myself and his father, and all of our kids, that we are up on a lot of things. My husband has to be, you know, based upon even with his job. But at the same token, we really try to just really stay rooted in God, in the word. And that really, really helps us because it is such a sinful and treacherous world out there.
Yeah.
And the devil is, and I'm not trying to go so spiritual here, but the devil is so busy. And if you don't know the Lord, again, some people, Muslim, whatever you are, whoever, that's how I work and my family work. We have to believe in that the good Lord is going to protect us. And what's for us is for us. We only can control what we can control. And at the end of the day, we keep him in our driver's seat. I don't know if if that's good enough for the world. And I'm sorry if it's not, but I do know I can share with you what has helped me and helped many of people around me. I surround myself with those individuals as well. Are we problem free? Heck no. Heck no. You know, but it's also optimism. I try to keep that optimistic personality versus pessimism. You know, the world is very corrupted right now. It
Yeah.
really is. And I just I continue to walk in faith and I just keep God right by my side, you know,
Yes.
and surround myself with like minds, because if not, you got to go.
Yeah.
You
Quickly.
gotta go. You're not gonna suck
Quickly.
the energy out of me.
Quickly.
I refuse. I refuse. If you're not there, I don't know if I'm gonna see you at the crossroad or what, but I won't see you on this seat right here. I can't do it.
Quickly. Hey
That
Gina,
was,
I applaud your child for taking a hiatus off social media.
oh yeah. Mhm.
I had to cut the cord on like a handful of ones that I felt was pushing too much propaganda as well. And
Yeah.
I just didn't feel right. You know how you go into a situation, I don't care where it is, where it just feels wrong. I'm not gonna stay because you know it's an end thing to do. I need to just go find sanctuary elsewhere and do me. And then if someone really and truly wants to holler at you elsewhere, let them do that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
to stay where I feel like is something else,
Not conducive to
it's
you.
not.
Your
It's
Right.
growth.
not. And
Mhm.
it will never and it never will be.
Okay.
So cutting the cord is a great thing. I didn't take it off to like, oh, I'm just gonna turn it off. I just deleted the whole damn thing. Why?
Okay. Yeah,
Foolish
that's my baby did.
on so many different ways because I
Yeah.
ain't got no time for it. I got
Yeah.
other things to do, things that I want to help people, and I want to use that avenue to be able to do more of it. I don't want to have a different, I can go find news or whatever because that's what I
True.
do. I'm a journalist guy, but
Mhm.
I'm not going to stay on there waiting for news to happen in order for me to just go, no, just cut the cord. I have a
Yeah.
sanctuary spot where I go and I push the lines where I need to push, and it's all good. I don't tell anybody to just go do what I did. Just find what
Mhm.
makes you happy and do
Absolutely.
that. And
Absolutely.
and if it doesn't make you happy anymore, leave. Bye.
That's
It's
right.
like being in a
Yeah.
damn
And
abusive
sometimes that's
relationship. Get
not
the
easy
hell
though.
out.
Yeah, sometimes that's, that's not easy. And sometimes we, again, going back
Right.
to with my spirituality, Lord, just give me the strength,
Yeah.
whatever it is, because this battle, I can't fight it by myself. I also would like to share this, that another thing that I found to be very helpful is exercising. I found it,
Yes.
and then certain foods. Believe it or not, the endorphins that's released, and I'm sure we've heard of this, that's
Mhm.
another thing that helps with the stress and keeps me on the optimistic, or that positive energy. It's that working out, and it don't have to be such strenuous,
Hmm.
just a light nice little, and that's what's been helping me, with my depression and anxiety as well. And then the foods, a lot of the foods that we eat. So again, as I go back to what I was saying earlier, there are a combination of things that can really, really help us when it comes to, depression, anxiety, and the things along those lines. But again, the key is to know there is help out there. There is.
Absolutely.
There is
Yes.
so
Absolutely.
much. Hmm.
Isn't it a part, before, we talk about music and some other things, isn't it a key core thing in a person's evolution is to know when it's time to evolve, grow? Like, you know what? This is not, I'm not moving in a
Hmm.
way where I should. I need
Hmm.
more. I need to
Yeah.
be a part of more. It's
Hmm.
up to me to
Hmm.
go figure that out. So isn't it cool where you can just have a situation? I'm not just talking about myself, I'm talking about anybody
Anybody,
who's
yeah.
feeling where I'm feeling, where it's just like, you know what? I can be inspired by you, Gina, Denia, and everybody else that's listening. But you know what? It's gonna be up to me to really want to orchestrate this change.
That's right.
So damn it,
Yes.
let me go do it.
That's right. That's right.
Just saying.
Absolutely.
Just
Absolutely. It's so very true. Absolutely. I the one thing that I have shared with my children, and my husband is the one that kind of like really brought this to the forefront with me, is every now and again, do a self check. Do a
Mhm.
self check, and try to be more self aware, of not only yourself, but even your surroundings as well. Because a lot of times, some people have expectations of others, but yet they're not giving it themselves.
facts.
Right. Big facts.
Facts.
So we have to be very mindful of, okay, what is it? What am I doing? Okay, now so what is it? What do I think may take to do this? Okay, now I may be in a relationship, or I may not be, or still, or whatever relationship, friendship, husband, wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever you have. What are you expecting of them?
Mm.
That's it.
And this is
That's
and
true.
this is yeah, it's so very true. So every now and again, I tell my children, when I give them that eye, like, they know
I love it.
that you need to listen.
Yeah,
Facts.
you know.
And I give it to them without the eyelashes on.
Uh-oh.
That's my girl. Hey,
When
hey,
I'm
hey.
giving it to you, you better go on upstairs. I don't care if you get on
That's all you
one knee,
need.
two knees, whatever you got to do. If you want to go in a shower and sing to God, and I do it for myself as well. Take a minute and self reflect.
That's all you
That's what I
need.
want you to do. Because
That's
right now,
all
I want. What are you asking me? I want you to go in your room for a minute,
you
and and me and my husband do that with each other. How you think we've been together 25 plus years?
need.
Yes.
Nobody but God, but self-check, self-aware, self-reflecting, growth, receptive to change. Know that change isn't easy. And people, the world changes, science changes, evidence-based changes, research changes.
Yep,
The
Yes.
world changes. We change.
that's
You
right.
change. I'm not saying you got to change so much of the individual that you are, but you may need to change the way you're doing certain things.
Well,
So,
That's
yeah.
it. That's it. That's game.
And
She's
this
not
is
only
all 50 years plus talking.
come on.
she's not only a music icon, she's also Dr. Gina Thompson on Nexxlegacy Radio. And I'm gonna ask you, this because I feel like you got a good wealth of knowledge on what's going on right now. So we just talked about a lot. We
Yeah.
dissected mental health and everything else that comes with it. But how you feeling about this music industry now?
Yeah, I get that often. Um, again, so again, with me, having that hiatus, for such a long period of time, I was gone from, let's say, we went from 2000 to 2021, 22. I was gone for so long. And honestly, within that time, like, very seldom. Again, I was into so much into nursing and just my family and my life. It was one of those things where I wasn't really even listening to much of stuff that was on, the radio. I listened to my gospel music for my inspiration, things along those lines. But now that I'm kind of, like tiptoeing back into things, or there is no tiptoe about it. I'm pretty much in it now, but uh I just kind of feel like there are some great singers out there, but the music just still, it's just not like the 80s and the 90s type music. And we have all these things that can alternate, and just I just want to be careful saying what I'm saying, but I like the music. There are some great singers, but it's just not to me, it just still is not. Music is just not what it used to be. It's really not. And trying to even um make that type of music anymore, it's because there's so much other stuff that's out there. It's even hard for people to even try to grasp that back to that. Hence is why I believe you're having these old school tours and shows where they're having these
Yeah.
artists that, I'm not saying that again, no disrespect to no new artist. Baby girl, baby boy, honey, whatever, go get yours. Do you? But that's why a lot of these, me and my husband, perfect example, over this weekend, we went and saw Joe, Eric Benet, and Music Soul Child, and a lot, believe it or not, they sang their songs. But let me tell you about each and every one of them artists. They even had incorporated some old school songs up in their sets. So it's just like the music has shifted, it has changed some. I just wish it was the way it was back in the 80s and 90s. So it is a bit different. And again, I try to be real careful with that, because I don't want to make it seem like it's whack. I'm not saying that.
Right.
It's to each his own. If it works for you, if it works, if it moves your soul, it does. If it doesn't, then stick with what does. And again, I'm glad that people are wanting us in my era and even older
Damn
to
right.
come out there and do these shows. That's why I'm like, what? Yes. So even now, part of my set, like I do Bobby Caldwell. Like,
Yeah.
come on.
Yeah.
What
Come on.
you do for love? What? Are you
Yeah.
kidding
Yeah.
me? Like, what am I saying? What are we talking about? Like, yes. And I'm going to be incorporating Angie Stone in my stuff. Like, this is what I'm saying. And people, if you go into these shows, that's what you're hearing. Why? Because they know what time it is or was then.
That's a
So,
good way to pay it forward too. But I'm gonna also keep it true as well. I think what you mentioned when you say go backwards, I'm not putting anything in your mouth. I just feel like this is for me and anybody that can understand it. There is a creativity shift
Yes.
that is not only lacking, but there needs to be an opportunity for people to just be their creative self in a sense, instead of going with
yeah.
the flow of what the
Mhm.
industry may want them to do,
Mhm.
or that they're copying or emulating. I've heard it, seen it. Even some of the rising quote unquote stars sound like somebody else. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guarantee you this. If somebody's trying to sound like Gina Thompson, the music police like myself, I'll call people out on it. You know what?
Wow.
You sound like Gina right now. Like that's just not
Oh.
gonna, it could respectfully though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like I
yeah,
just
no,
feel
I
like
got you.
at the end of the day, it shouldn't you should be your own person.
Mhm.
But I see a lot of people trying to do something for not just a bag now, but for
Mhm.
quote unquote fame. And to me, that's
Right.
not.
Yes. Yes.
I
Yes.
promise you this, Gina. When you went into the studio and sung, you wasn't trying to sing like whoever else was hot back then. You tried to be yourself,
No.
right?
But I will say I was definitely compared. I did get that a lot though. Believe it or not, they were saying you're trying to sound like Coco. I'm like, no, I'm not. I thank you for the compliment because she's a beast. I was told
Yeah,
they put me in with Little Mo, Nicole Ray, Coco, Shirley Murdoch, and I'm like, oh my gosh, all phenomenal singers. Thank you,
right.
but I can't be nobody better than myself. So
Damn right.
I am who I am, and I'm like, well, if people heard my sister sing or the rest of my siblings sing, they'll be like, nah, she sound like Selena, her sister.
Yeah,
That but they don't know them things. And I'm like, no, I sound like who God gave me to who I am.
right.
That's me. And if there's certain notes that may sound like other artists, but I do not try. I To me it would be too hard to try to be someone else that I'm not. I am who I am. So I've heard that sometimes as well, but I'm thankful, like I said, at the end of the day, because these are great singers. And but like Missy would say to me, but you still have your own, you still have your own unique sound. You can still tell at that moment that's a Gina Thompson
No
riff,
doubt,
or
no
that's a
doubt.
Gina Thompson. And that's something that she always gave me. With all due respect, I can't, of course, I can't take nothing from none of these other singers. We all may have similarities, but she would say to me, but you still have, it's just something about that voice that you still have your own uniqueness. And I do hear that from people as well.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I'm just thankful. All I can say is I am who God made me.
Hey, and what God made you is beautiful,
Thank you. Thank you so
beautiful.
much.
Tonight, you got
Thank
one
you.
more question to toss out to Miss Gina Thompson.
Absolutely. When everything is said and done, what do you want your legacy to be?
You said when everything is said and done. So basically, if I'm saying once I exit the world,
Yes, ma'am.
I would just say a person. Yeah, yeah. No, no, no. I just want to be clear.
No doubt.
Yeah.
Honestly, what I love about this is the God honest truth. What I love about myself is the positiveness, the spirituality. Knowing she always kept God first, always kept God first. Not about the nonsense, just wanting to give good music, help people, to whether it's with nursing to heal as optimally as possible, help them towards health goals, and for my music to just resonate with people, have fun with it, love it. That's just the type of artist. That's who I am. That is who I am. And to me, that's nothing so far-fetched. Just a person that just loves being positive and then just loves spreading the love. That's the God honest truth.
I can feel that energy though. Just saying, Gina.
Yeah.
I can feel
Thank
it.
you. Thank
Feel
Absolutely.
you.
it.
It's real. And to
In the
me,
heart.
it's just me. That's my joy. That's my joy, being able to help others. My husband tells me sometimes, wait, make sure your throat feel okay before you, or make sure your body feel good. I am one, like, I listen. When my patient or a person says to me, "Oh my God, you've helped me," that's a blessing. That is a blessing to know that I was able to help you here or help you there. Sometimes some people may call it a curse, but again, God made me who I am. I am who I am.
So, are you still doing shows? And not only that, how can people get a hold of you to do it? Where can they go hit you up?
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So first I'd like to say, I know we talked it earlier about the different social medias and this, and that. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but I really focus on IG. There are other platforms I have, but listen, I work and I have a lot going on. Okay. And so I do the Real Gina Thompson IG. That is great for me. I have a great amount of followers. You will know it pretty much any show that's upcoming if you just follow me on the Real Gina Thompson. I encourage people to DM me. My team does check it periodically. Just be patient with responses. You know how you look at something and it shows that it's red, and if you don't respond right away, people think you're ignoring them. Well, no, we respond accordingly when we can, but we most certainly respond. You can also see my email address on there, my point of contact, booking confirmation information, excuse me, is right on the Real Gina Thompson IG page. My EPK's on there. My new single titled Nobody. It's available on all platforms. So please, if you can go out
Hey,
and support that.
and on
Um,
rotation on Nexxlegacy Radio, just FYI.
Yes.
okay, I'm sorry.
And on rotation on Nexxlegacy
Bless you.
Radio, FYI.
Bless you
Too. So,
so, so much. So listen, y'all want shows, y'all want me to speak or anything, just hit the you can DM me. Like I said, my team checks that, but there also is an email address. Again, I'm a motivational speaker. I absolutely love that as equally as I love my music. I am here. I am here. Follow me on the Real Gina Thompson, and you will have the latest updates and everything, and more music to come as well.
I could tell when you have specific callings, and I know like the earlier part of your life and career, I'm sure there was a focus of music and other things that surrounding you, and I just feel like I mean, I interviewed you a couple of times. I kind of got a vibe from you right now. Like, I just feel like a lot of what you're doing is just coming full circle, that you were placed on
Amen.
this earth to be able to pay that
Amen.
forward. Because
Amen.
a lot of people, Gina, don't realize that when you do music, it's
Mhm,
not
mhm.
like, okay, I'm doing a song for 3 minutes and then that's it. No, it takes
Yeah.
days in some cases. It takes
Yes.
weeks in some cases. People tend to
Mhm.
forget there's a level of work ethic and eagerness to get in there and finish up a song, redo it if need be, or hear that certain thing that will continue to either push it or like, nah, I just want to do it over again. But people tend to forget that stuff. So there's a lot of hard work that you do, your producers clearly, but also when it comes to just how you are now, like it's just nice to be able to see pure evolution in the form of Gina Thompson, not just on the music side, but just giving us life game as well. Because I could sit on here and talk to you forever.
Oh, well, thank you. That I take that as a compliment, and it's an honor. Again, anytime that I can help someone, that's a blessing for me. That is a blessing to be able to, man, I felt good talking to her. Okay, oh, I learned something, or I learned something from talking to other people. So this too is why I enjoy the motivational speaking and people asking questions, and sometimes it gives me things to think about. So I'm just as grateful to be a part of this interview and to be on here with the both of you. So thank you so much.
I appreciate it. And in closing, if you could just say, hey, this is Gina Thompson, and you are listening to Nexxlegacy Radio.
Hey, what's up, y'all? This is your girl, Gina Thompson. And right now, guess what? You are listening to none other than Nexxlegacy Radio. Stay tuned.
That's my girl. I appreciate it. Hey,
you
tell
so
the fam
much.
I said what's up. Thanks for blessing me again with a dope interview.
Sure.
I know this is live and direct, and a lot of people that is getting, we'll run this back eventually or whatnot. They're gonna get some game out of this. But I want everybody to go follow my girl on her social media. We'll blow it up. We'll do what we got to do to make sure that we keep not just her music, but your legacy. Your legacy is deeper than just music. So put all that out there for the people. Gina Thompson,
both of you.
Just looking gorgeous as ever, too. Just beautiful.
Listen, nobody but God. Like I said, nobody but God, man. I keep
hey, that's it. Give God the glory for sure.
Energy. It's the energy.
And shout out to you for keeping it up though, because sometimes you got to keep that thing up a little bit too. Like you gotta eat right. Skin is looking gorgeous. Like come on, Gina.
That's just walking in there, and again, that stress. Listen. I mean, we know black don't crack. Black don't crack.
No doubt. But
hey,
Lord, come on now.
Leave that stress over there. Let it go.
Yeah, let it go over there. Like that stress needs over to go that way.
Mm-hmm. That's a do not enter.
It's Gina, I appreciate you. I'll be at you, and just continue to keep doing what you're doing. I'm gonna continue to follow, support, do whatever I need to do to hold you down, because that's what we do over here on this station. That's what we
absolutely
do. Thank
right
you.
Back at you. Appreciate it.
Bye. Take
all right, you too. It's Gina Thompson. She's a great one.
She was awesome. She was so amazing.
She's a great one. Well, whoever was listening to the station, now you are listening to regular music. And as I shut this down on what am I on? LinkedIn Live, not Twitter. I'm sorry, I don't have that thing anymore. YouTube, TikTok. Give out your where can they find you?
Absolutely, you can find me right here on YouTube and all over social media at Danaya Azure, DANAYAAZURE, and go to the website www.danayaazure.com. Hey,
and y'all already know where I'm at, because some of y'all listening or about to listen on Nexxlegacy, just go find me, Google it. But I am not on Instagram anymore. I am not on Twitter X anymore. I am not on Facebook anymore. So,
but it is on Blue Sky.
You're gonna have to hit me up on Blue Sky. You're gonna have to just hit me up on YouTube though. Like if you wanna put something together, just holler at your boy. Like just YouTube is where it's at. That's where I spend that's where I'm hanging out. I'm not saying they're all cool kids, but I'm just hanging out over there.
That's the vibe.
Those are my YouTube people though. Like all the people out there who's just checking it out. Like I'm talking about all the subscribers and the millions of people who are viewing or looking at stuff or whatnot. Appreciate it. Like, it it will never ever go without saying. I will always say it. I appreciate it. I appreciate the attention, and I appreciate people checking out what we do as far as our catalog of interviews that we've had over the course of time. So it's a beautiful thing to check out. So live shows, we're gonna continue to keep pushing it on. So we have something special for people coming up Wednesday. You'll know when it's popped up there, so we're about to have some fun with that. And you know what I'm saying? It'll just get better and better and better and better as we go, because that's just
this is only the beginning. Trust me, because we're coming up on 4 years next. Oh my goodness, next month, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, 4 years that the app has been available to the people, and beyond that, like just being available as far as content for the last 17 years. So it goes without saying, but I'll still say it. Go holler at us if y'all really want some opportunities to really just kind of showcase your talent. So it's what we do. It's what we do.
Absolutely.
So on behalf of Denia, I am Branded. See you next time, but also see you on YouTube. And go follow my girl Denia Azure on YouTube, though. Get her stuff up there.
Yeah, subscribe to
support. Stop playing and just go do your thing, like straight up. So, until next time or until next live, it's what we do, people.